Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining this conversation. I work at Kyiv School of Economics. It's in Kyiv. Right now, me and my team are partially in Kyiv or in some nearby villages or cities of Kyiv. Yesterday, I woke up from the bombshell. Today, my friends, colleagues, I have a team of around 50 people. Many of them were writing about the bombs, that they were seeing it from the nearby houses. My colleagues put all the facts very correctly, so I will not repeat it, but it's really very widespread. The Kyiv is surrounded from all the places, from all the directions, even from the Chernobyl side, the nuclear power plant.
Oh, excuse me, may I correct? Kyiv is not surrounded now, because that's what, so we are attacked from north. This is correct, because this is one of the things which Russian propaganda now, that Kyiv is encircled, it's already done.
That's correct,
No,
it's
so
not
this,
a circle.
yeah.
It's correct, it's not a circle. So I'm not a military expert, so that's important. So Mr. Haran, he told everything correctly. I'm giving you perspective of how my team around different parts of Kyiv feels right now. So I'm also near Kyiv. We wrote yesterday like our view on how the sanctions should work, also mentioning like military support, which is not a sanction, but actually very important support. The sanctions against Putin and his circle, SWIFT, energy diversification for Europe. But today it seems that it's really probably too late with the sanctions. I understand the perspective of the euro. So as an economist, I think that both SWIFT and all kinds of economic sanctions that would impact the imports of natural gas and oil from Russia and Belarus is very like would be a big loss, and would be felt very widely by the European people. So like as an economist, I understand why SWIFT is not happening again, because like a lot of business transaction also in this critical supplies are going through the system, and it creates leverages. So it's kind of economically it's clear, but if you look at the bigger perspective, Ukrainians are being killed right now, and Western countries, they are deeply disturbed. Some of them are providing monetary support to the central bank reserves, to the budget of Ukraine, and it's of course very valuable, and we are grateful for that. But practically speaking, we are not sure that we will be able to buy something for this money, because of the situation in the seaports right now, and because dependence of Ukraine, like historically, on the imports of gas and fuel from Russia and Belarus. So it's really a big question whether we would be able to spend this money over the upcoming like weeks or something, that the situation might be prolonged. So right now, I think the biggest support, given that it's not coming through all the sanctions that Ukrainian president and my colleagues mentioned before, if it's not coming, I guess at the human level, it's really critical to continue dissemination of true information of what's going on, and I guess supplies of fuel is really very, very critical to prolong the time Ukraine can be like in this situation of war, and protection of the transportation routes. So yesterday it was very frustrated to hear that US, for whose response we've been waiting for so long, and Germany and several other European countries, they didn't touch upon SWIFT, and they didn't touch about really military support of Ukraine, and only mentioned that they will strengthen their own security by putting more military forces in Germany. So given that, I think it's clear from the messages that Ukrainian government and people are making that sanctions and real military engagement and condemnation of what Putin is doing, not all Russian people, but specifically Putin, his surrounding is doing. If it's not being done, then like we all understand that Ukraine is left to deal with the situation alone. And for this worst case scenario, it's really the question then of whether you can support Ukraine at least with the critical fuel supplies, food, etc. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm usually a mathematician, but today I'm quite emotional. I have a team of 30 people who are trying to get out from the bombshell, and it's gets sometimes difficult to think straight